popcorn. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment below.
Hi everybody, it is Monica here from TV and Popcorn, coming to you guys with another review from Netflix. And woo, do I have a couple of these under my sleeves. You guys are going to hear a lot more from me maybe in the next week or so, because I have so much I have to say about some of these Netflix movies and series, all that good stuff. But I wanted to come with a Netflix review of the long-awaited, after everyone heard it was actually happening, El Camino / Breaking Bad movie. So I want to give you guys a review on this. It's going to be all out spoilers, so if you haven't watched El Camino yet, go ahead, head over to Netflix, check it out, and then come back and let's talk. So in my previous video about my binge watching of Breaking Bad, which I've already seen the series prior to this movie coming out, but I wanted to binge watch it again because I thought, okay, maybe I'm tripping. I did not like Breaking Bad in so many ways. I just felt like the show was slow moving when I first binged Breaking Bad, and then I also felt like the characters were kind of I guess you could say some of the characters should have gotten a little bit more screen time, a little bit more backstory than Walter White. I felt like Walter White should have been an afterthought. Now, mind you, this has nothing to do with the actor himself, because he played the mess out of that role. Brian, he played the mess out of the role of Walter White, but I still felt like Walter White as a character maybe shouldn't have went past the first season as the story arc. That's just my personal opinion about it, but still great writing, great acting. I will give them that, but the show for me just wasn't my cup of tea, and it didn't move at the pace that I usually like things to move. Now, mind you, I'm one of those people, even with the Making a Murderer documentary, different things that have come on Netflix, even thriller shows and movies, like if it's not moving fast enough for me, I just simply get on my phone, read a blog, and see, what happened, how to end. Maybe that's because I don't have, a lot of time to just be sitting around waiting on the arc of the story to, come to pass. So I guess that's why we have so much binge watching now. Anyway, moving that right along, I still wanted to see the El Camino film. Why? Because I love Jesse's character. I kind of hated him the first binge, and then I could really understand him the second time I binged Breaking Bad, but I really did enjoy his character both times. And so I was like, oh snap, they're coming out with a movie, and of course I'm all for the movie because it's going to move a lot faster than a show that has so many episodes throughout, so you don't have to really wait to find out what happens later. I was super excited about the film just to see, what they came up with. Now, I've heard some good and some bad reviews of El Camino from different people that I watch, and the YouTube community, especially as far as reviews go. And I really want to share my initial thought of the movie was, hey, this is cool. This is awesome. You actually get to see what happens to Jesse. In my opinion, I think the movie was a long, I don't know, what's the word that you look for? What's the thing you look for after the movies and you're thinking, after the credits, they're going to show something else? It's kind of like an after credit type thing of the finale of the show, Breaking Bad, right? So now you get the extended cut. Basically, that's the word I'm looking for, or the term. Extended cut is what you're getting with El Camino. Basically it takes off right where you left off in Breaking Bad, and kudos to Jesse, or my bad, Aaron. I'm calling him Jesse now. Kudos to Aaron for keeping his shape and look, and to be able to pick up on a role right where you left off some 10 years ago is pretty bad, in my opinion. So he looks good, and you cannot tell that there was a break in between, this film and the show, literally, because he jumps right into Jesse, like, putting on his pants in the morning. It was really, really good to see that happen. That takes a lot of talent, and that also means that as an actor, he takes his craft serious, and he's still out there taking care of himself. So best wishes to him, as he continues to thrive in his career and life. I guess that's, he appears to be, based on his interviews, he has his family, he's married, he has, I do believe, a daughter, I want to say. Don't quote me on that and I don't want to get that wrong, but he has a family. So hopefully that's what it means. It's just, he's happy in his personal life and his career, which is really good. So he's one of those that picked up right where he left off. Also, Mike had a cameo in the movie. Oh, how I loved Mike. And how I hated how Mike was killed by Walter. That really ticked me off, man. I was like, couldn't someone else worthy of killing someone like Mike kill Mike other than Walter? But it really does play on that, how you underestimate someone and then boom, they sneak up on you, and you end up either seriously hurt or dead. So that's basically what happened to Mike. Really good to see his cameo. He's another one. He picks up right where he leaves off. He looks good. Basically in the film there was a conversation between him and Jesse, and him telling Jesse to go ahead and get out, start a new life, do something differently, and Jesse was really trying to do that initially. So you can't say that he wasn't trying to do that. He really was. So that's my thought on that. I love that we got to see that conversation between Mike and Jesse that we had not seen in the show. And of course, it was a flashback for the film. The next thing I want to talk about really quick is Walter White's cameo in the film. It's nice to have seen that happen. It was so funny how they brought Walter in, and it was kind of like this silence, and they're walking out of their hotel room, and at first we're thinking that this is current, because the way the movie goes from back and forth between the present and the past, it doesn't give you a time lapse, and it doesn't show you, 5 years later, 2 years later, nothing crazy like that, or 6 months prior, or whatever, anything like that. So you don't know what it's jumping to. And so then next thing you know, you see Jesse walking out his hotel, and then Walter is also walking out, and it's basically in the beginning or the starting stages of them, doing what they were doing as far as the drug gang. They also had their little RV outside, and they were eating at this, it looks like all you can eat buffet, and Jesse's trying to convince Walter to enjoy his meal, get some nutrition so they can continue to do what they're doing. So that was a cool scene to actually see. Did the movie need that scene? I don't think so. But I know that a lot of fans wanted to know, okay, is Walter going to make an appearance somehow, some way? And I don't know why people keep wondering if Walter's alive or not, because I believe like the ending scene of the Breaking Bad in the series finale really did let us know that Walter, was not alive. And then of course, or that he actually died. And then of course you see him in the news clip that Jesse is listening to once he gets away from those who have kidnapped him. And then moving right along to those who have kidnapped him, we get a lot of Todd in this film. I don't know if I like that or not, but I understood it because that's where Jesse just came from, so Todd is the main reason why Jesse was held captive to begin with. So Todd played a major role in what happened to Jesse, during his time there while he was cooking up these drugs for these Nazi groups or drug dealers or whatever you want to call these people. And so Todd is pretty much a psychopath. That's what I get from seeing a little bit more on screen from him and how he treated Jesse. It's almost like he treated Jesse as if, I don't know, as if it was nothing wrong with what they were doing, but he also wanted Jesse to feel like he was doing him some kind of favor. And I'm like, dude, you're not doing this guy a favor. You've kidnapped him. You're keeping him in a cage in the ground, below ground. It's insane. So anyway, in this film, we see Todd take Jesse along for a ride, telling Jesse that he needs his help. He wanted him to be on his best behavior, so that way they can continue to hang out or whatever the case may be. And then come to find out, Todd actually killed his maid, which was insane. Now, in this film, I would say Todd is the one really who you can tell the difference between his Breaking Bad and, to El Camino. It wasn't a smooth transition in his appearance, should I say. He was a lot younger then too, and I think that's probably the roughest when you're doing something like this and you're picking up where you left off, but it's been so many years between a show and a film, when you're dealing with a younger actor. So that's the only one. Todd was the only character who really didn't pick up right where he left off, in his looks, because he was very young when Breaking Bad first, I guess you could say when he appeared in those seasons in the series. And I think Todd came in what season? I want to say 4 and 5. I want to say. Don't quote me on that. I'm just going off the fly here. But yeah, so he's the only one who has a difference, but he killed his maid. And so Jesse is having to help him pretty much get rid of the maid's body. And oh, was that a hot mess? Was I the only one who cracked up laughing when they dropped the body from the balcony? I was just like, what are they doing? And how come no one is seeing this actually happen? It's insane. But what the reason why Todd became such a critical part and role in the film is because we see Jesse pretty much recalling a certain amount of money that Jesse had stashed there at his apartment. And so Jesse is going back while he's on the run, of course, because at this point the law is looking for him. I don't know if they just wanted to question him about the ordeal that happened there, or if they were going to charge him for a crime. Not really sure, exactly what they would have done when they caught up to him. But Jesse wanted to make sure that he was able to get away. So what he ended up doing was going back to Todd's apartment and finding the money. And boy, was that a hot mess, because then you had these thieves dressed as cops who was also looking for the money, and they knew Todd, come to find out, because they had done some work with, they're another crime group, who specialize in other things. And so they were already doing work with Todd and his family and uncles and, all that craziness there. And so pretty much they come in in the very moment that Jesse finds the money, and Jesse thinks that they're real cops. And in my gut of guts, I'm like, something's fishy about these. Either he's not a real captain or they're not real cops. At first I thought the guy was not a real captain, because instantly when the other thief called him in the room, he said, "Captain, come in here, check this out, I need you." And instantly he grabbed his gun, took his gun out. So I figure, yeah, that was code for either A, he's not a captain and he knows he's not one, so he knows somebody's probably in that room with this guy, all that good stuff. But that was a great scene. And I'm gonna say this real quick. One thing I missed in this film that I was hoping would happen was a little bit more action. We get a lot of flashbacks. We see what happens between Jesse and Todd, as far as what Todd is doing and how he's using Jesse. We see all of that, but I thought that we were going to get a little bit more action. I don't know. Maybe seeing Jesse on the run for just a little bit longer. I don't know. And then also, was I the only one disappointed because we really didn't see Skinny Pete being interrogated by the police as we did in the trailer? That was like, seriously, really? I was looking forward to that. And so the way Skinny Pete and Badger comes in, they come in the beginning of El Camino, and basically that's who Jesse ran to when he escaped from these bad criminal drug dealer, individuals. And so he goes to Skinny Pete's house, and that's where he gets himself together, get a hot shower. And then what Skinny Pete does is he comes up with this plan to help Jesse escape, and that included keeping the El Camino, because come to find out, there was a tracker. I was going to say tractor. There was a tracker on the El Camino, which was allowing the cops to trace it, all that good stuff. So what they did was, I believe how it went was Jesse took Badger's car, and then Badger took Skinny Pete's car, and it's this whole thing. And then Skinny Pete keeps the El Camino. He said he always wanted an El Camino. So we see Jesse driving off from Skinny Pete's house, and as he's sitting, heading up the street, he has to sit for a moment because you see all of these cops going past, pretty much headed to Skinny Pete's house, but we never see what happens after that. So I would have loved to see a little bit more dialogue between Skinny Pete and the federal agents or the cops or, whoever that was coming to his home at the time. And then also with Jesse, he's now on his way to Todd's house at this point after he's leaving Skinny Pete's house so he can get some money, because his goofy butt at a very rough time in his life was throwing his millions out the window in his neighborhood in the Breaking Bad series. So he needs money, and what he's going to do with that money is he's going to make sure he's able to disappear, and he's using Saul's guy to disappear. And I call him the vacuum guy because he runs a vacuum cleaner business. So he goes to him and he pretty much begs him to help him, because of course he pretty much walked away from his help the first time, and that guy only helps that person one time. You only have one time to get up and disappear, or you've missed that opportunity. And so Jesse ended up having to get another, I believe it was $1,000 or so together in order for this guy to take the job and go ahead and help him disappear, which we do end up seeing happening at the end of the film. So we see Jesse driving away. He's somewhere in Alaska somewhere, and he's on the move. He's driving some type of truck or vehicle, and then the scene cuts. So what's happening with Jesse after that? Hopefully he's getting his life together, and he's probably never going to look at a drug or get in any trouble from here on out. Now, mind you, Jesse had a problem with using. Okay, so hopefully all of this has seriously been a heck of a sober upper for him. Some good rehabilitation there as far as him keeping clean in the future. But what I liked about the film is how it picked up with ease from where it left off. I mean, you can't even really, other than a few things, you can't really even tell it's been such a long time between the show and the movie. I have to give them kudos on that. I did overall like the film. I would give it a nice smooth B+. I'm not going to give it an A. The reason why I won't give it an A is because I really wanted to see a little bit more. I wish they may have, spent just a little bit of time showing what happened to Jesse from when he was released from these guys who captured him and held him hostage, from the point of that end scene that we seen in the Breaking Bad series finale, where he's basically looks like he's become a carpenter, or, something like that. Who did he meet along the way of that path? How did he get there? What's his current job? And I feel like the movie still kind of left us hanging from an aspect of what really happened to Jesse after Breaking Bad, because we still kind of don't know. We did get that flashback, in the series finale of the show Breaking Bad, but we still didn't have anything that led up to that, because it looks like he's building toys or something. He's doing something with his hands, and he's building, wood objects, furniture, and all that good stuff. We see that quick flashback in the show, but what happened to the lead up to that is what I would have liked to see, and I would have also have liked to see a little bit more action. Don't know quite what or where to plug it, but I guess I was expecting just a little bit more than just a quick pickup from where they left off. But kudos to them for being able to make that happen. Seriously. So that's my review, you guys. Let me know what you thought about the El Camino film. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you not like it? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Also, remember to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because I have a few more reviews coming your way not too much longer from now. So keep hanging out with me, and I look forward to chatting with you all super soon. Take care.